Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to episode 55 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. You can also find Taylor's Detroit Sports on iHeartRadio. Add me on Facebook, Taylor Phillips. Like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. Join my group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Going to talk plenty of Tigers and a little bit of Pistons as well. Tigers win 6-1 to get revenge on the San Francisco Giants and salvage one in the 3-game series and stay within 2 games of the Royals in the AL Central and gain a game of ground on the Seattle Mariners, who lost. The Royals won in New York. But first off, and we're going to talk Pistons. Greg Monroe unlikely to accept a trade from any team. But first, Kyle Lobstein took on Tim Hudson, and Kyle Lobstein pitched 6 innings and got the win, as the Tigers propelled by Miguel Cabrera's 2-run homer and an RBI single, totaling up to 3 RBIs, propelled the Tigers to a 6-1 lead, propelled the Tigers to a 6-1 win at Comerica Park Sunday night on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Lobstein is now 1-0, his first decision and first MLB win in his career, and now he has a 2.11 ERA in 3 starts since moving to the rotation to replace Anibal Sanchez. Lobstein actually pitched 5 2/3 innings, giving up 4 hits, 2 walks, and striking out 3, and giving up the 1 run. 4 relievers finished, with Phil Koch, who took the loss in Game 4 in the 2012 series, pitching the 9th. Hudson, pitching in Detroit for the first time in 11 years, gave up 3 runs and 8 hits in 6 innings. Hudson and LaTroy Hawkins are the only 2 active pitchers with a victory at Tiger Stadium, which closed in 1999. The Tigers took the lead on Hunter's RBI single in the 3rd, and Cabrera followed with a long homer over the Giants' bullpen in left center field. Detroit could have expanded the lead in the 4th when it put runners on 2nd and 3rd with none out, but Hudson got out of the jam by easily getting the bottom 3 in the lineup, including Alex Avila, of course, who's had a rough year at the plate. Very rough year. The Tigers finally got to Lobstein when the Giants finally got to Lobstein, when Angel Pagan's infield single scored Gregor Blanco with 2 outs in the 5th. They threatened again in the 7th, putting runners on the corners with 1 out, but Blaine Harney retired Pagan and Joe Panik to end the inning. In that 9th inning, there were runners on 1st and 2nd and nobody out, but Phil Koch induced a hot ground ball to 3rd base, and Nick Castellanos and the rest of the infield could have almost turned a triple play. They could have had a chance. In other words, they almost had a chance to turn 3 in that 9th inning to end the game. Victor Martinez, Ian Kinsler's RBI double off George Contos made it 4-1 in the 7th. Cabrera drove in Kinsler with a single with 2 outs to give him 11 straight seasons with 100 RBIs, and Victor Martinez put the game away with an RBI double into the right center field gap. That was hit hard enough for the hobbled Cabrera to score all the way from first base. The bullpen kept getting themselves into jams, but got out of all of them. I'm really shocked at how half dramatic that bullpen was tonight. It's very unpredictable. We got an update on Joakim Soria. He might be back as soon as Wednesday. He has been out since August 10th because of an abdominal strain. He's scheduled to pitch live batting practice on Monday. He will return to the active roster barring any setbacks. We also have an update on Anibal Sanchez. Ansar Khan from MLive.com writes that Sanchez took baby steps before Sunday night's game. It was a late catch. Sanchez threw Anibal through 30 balls at 45 feet. No issues, felt fine. According to Tigers head trainer Kevin Rand. He'll do the same thing tomorrow. He'll do the same thing Monday. He's going to extend out probably to 60 feet tomorrow with about 45 throws. They cannot put a time frame yet on a possible return, but that was finished at 9:02 p.m. But now we're getting word that that's Soria. I'm talking about Sanchez. They still can't put up a time frame yet on a possible return. Miguel Cabrera has been surging as of late. He was hitting .500, 13 for 26 with 4 home runs in 7 games prior to Sunday. And now he's hit over .500 with 5 home runs in 8 games. This podcast is going to be really short, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the Pistons. Brian Rose from SI.com writes, Detroit Pistons rumors, Greg Monroe unlikely to accept trade. Although the Detroit Pistons were said to have at least one offer on the table for restricted free agent Greg Monroe, a center, the former Georgetown product wasn't interested. Why exactly Monroe didn't want to return to the Pistons is on to return to the Pistons on a long-term contract is unknown, though some rumors have suggested that he was unhappy with the direction of the franchise. Regardless, it appears as if Greg Monroe is willing to take the risk of injury and gamble by signing a one-year qualifying offer that will make him an unrestricted free agent at season end. Along with that comes a full no-trade clause, which means the Pistons are going to have a difficult time getting anything in return for their budding power forward. It's a power forward, not center. It would take an absolutely perfect scenario for Greg Monroe to waive his bird rights. Well, he probably won't accept a trade to another club during the season because he would lose his Larry Bird rights, an exception that allows teams to exceed the salary cap when signing their own players. A playoff team calling around the trade deadline in February for Monroe's services becomes a slim possibility. It would take an absurdly perfect scenario for Greg Monroe to waive his bird rights. Keeping them allows him to potentially get a larger contract. So the most likely situation is the forward will play out the season in Motown. Once the year concludes, Greg Monroe will be free to sign with any team, though many attempt to engage the Pistons in a sign and trade scenario. Such would not only allow him to get a more lucrative contract in free agency, but would also allow the Pistons to get some type of asset in return. So that's going to do it. So what do you think of Greg Monroe unlikely to accept a trade? I think that's a good thing because he might actually stay with the Pistons after this year. That's going to do it for episode 55 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker and iHeartRadio. Remember, you can add me on Facebook, Taylor Phillips. Also, like my Facebook page, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports page. Join my Facebook group, Taylor Phillips' Detroit Sports Group. And follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. Episode 56 after the Lions game, 7-10 against the New York Giants at Ford Field on ESPN Monday Night Football with Mike Tirico and John Gruden. You can also get that on 97.1 The Ticket and the Lions Radio Network. Tigers at 4:05 against the Royals today on Fox Sports Detroit. TTFN, ta-ta for now.